So I just talked for 10 minutes only to find out that iMovie recorded none of it. I really miss my camera. Hi Lindsay, it's Monday, November 22nd, and I originally thought I was going to make this video entirely about Harry Potter since I watched it twice over the weekend, and then I got some news, and now I'm kinda mad. The first half is still going to be about Harry Potter. The movie was really, really good, a lot better than I actually expected it to be. They made a really good decision splitting it into 2 movies and making it like this 5-hour epic, amazing, awesome thing. Because the first half at least stayed really true to the book. I mean, they had to condense a really large chunk of it so that it made more sense and wasn't boring, because honestly, if you put that much stuff into everything before Bill and Fleur's wedding, it's really gonna get boring to a viewer. Not to a reader, but to a viewer. And they stayed true to everything that happens in the story. They also stayed really true to all the character developments, which is really what I was hoping that they would do. They made a few changes that, were kind of major. I mean, they added some scenes that weren't in the book, and they took out a couple of things that were sort of necessary. One in particular I'm really hoping they pay off in the next movie because I'm kind of confused by it. But I don't have any major concerns or complaints. It's certainly passed muster with everyone that I've talked to so far who's read the books and loved them. For someone like you who hasn't read the books, as you're dumb, it makes a lot of sense, and it's really, really difficult to have a book this complex make a lot of sense in a movie form. I seem to be a little more lenient with books turned into movies than other people because I think I understand how difficult it is to condense an 800-page book into a 5-hour movie, but I'm not exactly nice about it sometimes. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban was a horrible movie adaptation. It was a whole bunch of action fillers just smooshed together and then cut into pieces, and it didn't really make any sense. But I'll stop talking about that. The new piece of news that I recently got off the internet, they're doing a Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie remake. This is terrible news. Normally, I would be like, yay, new Buffy for the new millennium. Well, I guess Buffy ended in 2003, so it's not really for the new millennium, but Buffy 10 years later, that could be really interesting, except for the fact that it's none of the original cast, and it's not even using Joss Whedon or penned by any of the original writers of the Buffy TV show. There's a reason the original movie bombed. And that reason is the complete and utter lack of involvement by Joss Whedon. Apparently some people seem to think that he didn't write the original movie. He did. But when the studio started making all of these crazy choices and going way too fast trying to get it released for the summer box office, he stepped away from the project and just let them take it. He didn't want to be involved in something that terrible. Joss Whedon and the director of the original movie, Fran Rubel, I'm gonna pronounce her last name wrong, Kuzwi, eventually went on to put together and create the Buffy the Vampire Slayer television show for the WB, and eventually UPN, which would go on for 7 years and become a humongous cult phenomenon, and was nothing like the original movie. If you don't know, the original movie was made in 1992, and it starred Christy Swanson as Buffy, and Luke Perry of 90210 fame as a friend of hers. I can't remember what his name was. And it was really terrible. I don't know, I don't even remember why it was terrible. I just remember being horribly cheesy and in no way as good or even nearly as dark as the series. The darkness of the series is really what made it awesome. So now they're making this remake, which I think is supposed to be a reboot of the original movie, and they're not talking with Joss Whedon again. They didn't even involve him this time. I don't think it's going to do nearly as well as they're hoping, because every hardcore Buffy fan out there is not going to see it as long as Joss Whedon is not involved. I'm gonna stop ranting before I go way over my time limit. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.